Hey, welcome to another episode of the Black Guy with Tips podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
and we are live on a Tuesday, ready to do some podcasting the day before Valentine's Day for all those lovers out there. The official weapon of the show is
phone chair,
and the unofficial sport
bullet ball,
and bullet ball extreme. And you know how we do, guys. We're just here to do a little bit of talking, a little bit of podcasting with everybody and stuff. And you know, just like the big professionals do it, you know, I'm sure that we have plenty of banter and stuff to do. Oh man, this is the last day of Spotify ads. Like we'll still have ads in the show, but the third party ads that just are randomly put in there. But us doing the read for hey, Spotify for Podcaster, today is the last day that'll be
the last day
on the show.
I kind of enjoy doing those.
I enjoyed those sketches. It's good practice for writing and improv, and you make a good team.
Flexing my muscles, because sometimes I would even come up with the ideas.
Exactly. It was fun. So I don't miss that.
Me too.
What else is going on? How's your day?
My day has been good. It's the day before the NBA All-Star break. For those of you that are NBA fans, it's getting ready to be NBA All-Star weekend. Let's go.
Yeah, I think it starts All-Star Friday, weekend. Saturday, Sunday. And I was wrong. We play a game tomorrow against the Hawks.
Oh, so tomorrow's the last day.
So I think tomorrow is like games, and then Thursday there's no games, and then Friday they have, you know, that celebrity basketball and the rookie game and all that stuff. Then Saturday is skills night, 3-point contest, dunks, all that stuff, and then Sunday is the All-Star game. Kind of snuck up on us. I don't feel like it's always the weekend after the Super Bowl, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know, and it hadn't been, because the Super Bowl is like it's like a week off, because it used to be like the first Sunday, and now it's like the second Sunday.
Oh, because they added extra week to the playoffs.
Yeah, so they
greedy ass NFL.
So it pushed everything back. I think it's been like this the last like 2 years.
No, it makes sense. I forgot that the NFL added that extra playoff game because the NFL players have a week union, and they totally folded when it came to adding an extra week to the season and extra week to the playoffs, but you know, or extra, you know, extra week to the season.
Yeah, because we used to get like a break, and then it would be like NBA All-Star weekend.
Yeah, well, it's just something else on TV. It'll be all right.
I'm not complaining at all, and we'll probably end up talking about this more on Balls Deep. But the one is just some trades. I'm excited, and we've won 2 games in a row. I'm very excited about that, and just the chemistry and the makeup of the teams. And let's go Hornets. I am really excited. It's giving me something to look forward to. And a lot of the players that came to our team was like, bitch, we getting playtime. So they're like, we going hard, we playing. So
and they playing without, like, some of them come from situations where like they were playing with Luka, and regardless of how people feel about Luka, you know, like he shoots a lot and he has the ball a lot. I'm not saying if I was him I'd be passing the ball a lot, but I can see how they get here. LaMelo's hurt, and people are passing the ball around, and you're a good player, and you're finally getting minutes. And we need the help. And they're for veterans. It's a great thing. It's more of a Balls Deep thing, but yeah, it's been fun. We're on a 2-0 winning streak, which we haven't had since November, because of all the injuries and everything. So I've been enjoying it. It's fun basketball, and we're not supposed to be winning, so it's just fun watching us play and win.
Yes, and it's fun, and just watching. We didn't go to the game last night. Went to the first one they won, and it was really, really fun. The vibe in the building is completely different, like from the crowd and the audience and things like that. I think some of the crowd was almost surprised. They were like, "Oh shit, we in the game! Oh shit, we up!" Like you could almost feel the crowd almost. It's almost like holding bated breath. It's like, okay, we've been up before. We're going to fold in the third quarter. We're going to stop playing defense. And I was like, oh shit, they actually trying to win this bitch. And the energy in the building changed. So, I am here and I'm enjoying it. And I am makes me even more excited for the next season of basketball, even though I know this is midterm. We probably won't be making to nobody's playing or nothing like that. So I'm just excited just going and watching, the rest of the games for the season.
People say life is short, but those people probably never tried to do a plank. Life is long. A minute is a long time.
Say that again.
It's a very long time.
Your
I know
mind
because
is
I was
like, is
looking
this
at.
shit over with?
I keep looking at the clock, and it's like, why is it not a minute yet? It feels like it should have been a minute, and it's not a minute. It just anyway. That was just thinking about that.
Yes, I feel you. I've been lifting some weights and stuff with Roderick, and that's been fun. I think I need to go up in my weights. I was scared, so I got like the lightest weights, but apparently it's too light. It's
Yeah,
like,
if you're not getting somewhat sore after, and especially the day after or so, then it's probably not enough weight because you just, it's almost like if you just went in there and stretched to just only moved your hands. And I know you're using 5-pound kettlebells or
mhm,
whatever, but they have 8, they have 10, and you
mhm.
kind of just go up till you find the right weight and you feel that resistance. I know, she told me to kind of experiment with some of them. Like if it's too easy, get something a little heavier. If it's too hard, go down a little bit. You're trying to find a thing that you can complete all your sets in with good form and all that stuff. And I had to use some of that stuff she said today. Like um I was doing I was doing kettlebell bench presses, which is like an individual thing or whatever. And man, I got to that third set with I want to say 30-pound ones because, and like I got through the first 10, and then the last 5, I was like, I'm breaking down. And I was like, okay, let me sit it down. Then I went and got oh no, I think I was doing 25 pounds. And I went and got the 20-pound one and did 15 with the 20-pound one, which is, honestly, it means I probably lifted more weight and did more than I would have done because I did
Mhm.
try it. But
Right.
she was like, don't force yourself, and then don't just like be like, okay, well, let me do 2. All right, stop. Let me do 3. Like she was like, try, you want to do a weight, you can do all 15. So, it's been cool learning all this stuff about the machines in their building and all that stuff. And I told her she has this thing, it's called a sled, and I think I've talked about it. You like push it and pull it, and it has like a lot of weight. Like you can add weight to it. And so the first time the sled is 100 pounds, and then you put like a 45-pound weight on it. That's like
It's 100
100.
pounds by itself.
Yes.
Wow.
So some people just push and pull just a sled. You don't have to put weight on it.
Okay.
But and it's kind of, if you put it on the carpet in the Y, it's kind of like pushing it's like you're pushing something that has resistance, but not enough where you're really, really working hard.
Right.
But then you keep adding weight, and you will work hard. And the first one I did, and it was like really easy. And she was like, "Oh, got to add some more weight." And so I think I'm up to 200 pounds now or something like
Ooh.
that. But you have to like push it, then you put a belt on your back and you walk backwards with it, which is the hardest part for me
Mm.
because you're not using your arms at all. You're just only using your muscles in the back of your legs and your back,
Mm.
and you're going back, and that, as I do it, wears you down or whatever. But she said, I know I'm gonna be doing that shit every Friday. So we don't have a sled here. And she
Mm-mm.
had suggested that I do the sled before whatever I'm doing that day. So if I'm doing cardio, do the sled first. If I'm doing weightlifting, do the sled a few times. She said it really activates all the muscles in your body, blah, blah, blah. But because we've been going to the apartment and we don't have a sled here, I hit her up and she gave me some suggestions on other stuff we can do, or I can do, I guess,
Mhm.
when I don't have a sled.
Right.
So, it was just something I thought of. It was a little thing that I was just like, oh yeah, I wonder, because I was about to drive to the Y just to do just the sled. And she was like, nah, just do this thing with the dumbbells and you'll be fine. But yeah, it's been a learning experience. And it's easier when like a lot of people will say, it's easier when you have a partner to do the weights because then between sets you can rest while they do theirs.
Mm-hmm.
And all that stuff. And I pay a lot of attention to what she teaches me, so it's kind of easy to show you what I'm learning so far.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know, and this probably just me and my own mind. I don't know if I'm any good at it or anything, but
I don't think it's a
am
be
like
good at it type of thing.
I'm giving A for effort.
Well, maybe it'll increase your confidence in yourself because it's not a be good at it thing. It's not like basketball where you look up and go, I hit this many shots.
Right.
But you know, it's like a form thing and you know, the ability to do it and that kind of stuff. So, you know, I at least from, you know, you've been doing what I'm showing you and that's looks like what she showed me. So, you know. But yeah, we've been doing that. Anything else?
Mm-mm.
All right, well, let's get into the show.
Psycho music.
All right, so the fallout from Monique continues.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happened?
So her son, the estranged son that Shannon Sharp brought up in the interview.
Okay, I remember somebody was talking about it, but I didn't listen to anything like that. If it was like a video or something, or he said something on Twitter or something.
Well, that's what I'm here for. I'm about to tell everybody that.
Thank you.
So we only been doing thousands of episodes, guys.
Why do I always act surprised like he ain't gonna tell?
I just brought it up out of no reason. Anyway, moving on. Joe Biden. So Monique's oldest son, Shalon, he was Shannon Sharp. I guess he came up within that interview, and she said how she was praying to the universe to, you know, help fix that relationship and all this stuff. And so her son, who is a stand-up comedian, I guess as well. I don't know his work like that.
Okay.
He put out like a 9-minute video. And what I thought was funny, look, I'm just gonna say right now, there are so many fucking agendas with this Monique shit. And I feel like everything someone says pisses somebody else off.
Yes, it does.
And it's because everyone is so deep in there, like, I need a hero, I need a villain. These people are terrible, these people are great.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm mostly err on the side of just trying to be fair to people. I think a lot of times the group think is wrong about shit. You know, I think a lot of times people are, you know, they got shadows and they got lights in them. It's not all one or the other for most people.
Agreed.
And I think the internet generally trends towards wanting to think people, especially celebrities, are just terrible.
But yeah, no matter what they do, it's terrible. There's something connected to it. There's no way you can be that good. There's no way you can be that great. You know, this is why, you know, people come out with what I think is a stupid thing. If you got X amount of dollars, that means you evil. That's not always true. But, you know, they, like you say, it's whatever blank is, if you're that, whatever equation y'all have made up online, you ain't shit no matter what you do. You can't redeem yourself. You can't come back. Your mistakes are forever. Like it just logically doesn't make sense. They're just human beings like everybody else, but because they're celebrities and we always see them, and because of jealousy and all these other internal things that the general public kind of put on to them, we feel certain ways and we project, which we have the right to do, but it doesn't mean that everybody has to agree with it.
Yeah, I think it's a deep-seated thing that the average person does have jealousy and envy of, you know, people that have a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And by a lot of stuff, I don't even mean money. You know, it's fame, attention. That's currency in today's economy as well.
Yes, it is.
And for a lot of those people, I feel like we need a reason to feel like the reason that I'm not rich and famous is because I'm a good person. And the reason that anyone else is rich and famous is because they're a bad person. because then I don't have to say I'm not talented. I don't have to say I'm not working hard enough. I don't have to say that
Right.
maybe I'm not a nice person. I don't have to say I don't have charisma. I don't have to say, and mostly I don't have to say that that person is actually a human being that is doing the best they can, and
Right.
and possibly not a evil motherfucker. They may have gotten lucky. They may have had the right break. They may whatever it
Right.
is. But because I know it's not gonna happen to me, I'm gonna say they're a shitty person. And then of course you have the aspirational folks that are the other side of the coin who are like, I want to be all those things. So those people are great people. And I think the conflict between that first group of people and that second group of people is what creates so much division and makes us entrenched into like these people are bad and these people are good. Cause we all know those people that are like, Elon Musk must be a great person. He has a lot of money. And you're like, you're a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? So, but then it's like, because all people that have a lot of money are bad people, and vice versa. So anyway, the point I was making though is like Oprah and Tyler Perry could have done her wrong in that situation with Precious, and she's holding that however many years it's been. I think someone said 17, but however many years it's been, she's gonna hold that against them for the rest of their lives, probably. And unless they apologize in the exact way that she would like, she is going to forever bring it up. I don't think she's comfortable with the judgment and everything that comes with that, it seems.
But if you have that stance, that's what you need to stand in. And
What do you mean?
Like if you said that, you need to be comfortable with everything else that comes with being 10 toes down and saying, this is how I feel.
I mean, so that's the thing though. Like you can still feel that it's unfair. So like if I said, for example, I don't fuck with X celebrity, like whoever this celebrity is, and all of a sudden our podcast got taken off of the airwaves somehow. Like, and it's like, well, you just need to be comfortable with the fact that you said that shit and that celebrity is taking your podcast off the airwaves. I'm not gonna just sit around and be like, I guess it's okay. Like I'm going to always be like mad about it.
Right.
I'm probably always gonna feel that it is unfair, the consequences of it. Not that like, so when you say be comfortable, the things in her mind, the things that have been done to her are things that are that is discomfort, and she will always express that discomfort.
Yes, and I'm not arguing with that point. I'm saying she has the right to feel that way. She has the right to express that. She has the complete right to do that. And I feel as though when you do that, you also have to say these other things come with it, and I have to deal with those things as they come, because I have chosen to express myself in this way. And like I say, I'm not fighting you on that. I'm not saying you don't or you can't, but there's consequences to that, and you have to go, okay, I don't like the consequences, and I'm still going to complain, and you have the right to do that too.
Yeah. So at any rate, like I allow for the space and the understanding, because I think a lot of people don't do this.
Right.
I could have a space and understanding for that. Tyler Perry and Oprah probably feel wronged by Monique, and most people won't relate to that because they're just, they're big bank take little bank. This person's a bad guy. This person's a good guy. But I can absolutely see from their perspective of everyone else and their movies and the people that started them are doing this thing in the industry standard way, and you're demanding something that is not industry standard. And I feel like you're the one betraying me. You're the one not going along with this plan that is benefiting all of us. Not a plan to benefit just me, but you as well. And you're deciding to be unorthodox. And, I try to hold back somewhat when I talk about this topic, because I know how people feel. But I have to say, at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff feels like Sydney to me. It feels like this is how he does business. The business is the part that always gets fucked up. And then Monique goes out and is almost like the mouthpiece for both of them in these interviews, when she's the one being like Oprah and Tyler Perry and this thing and that thing and this person and that person. And a lot of it seemed like people, and I'm only speculating, I don't know. It just seemed like people don't want to do business in the way Sydney does business, and whatever it is he demands for her, they're like, I know.
Right.
You know, whenever all those stories to me, which those people will probably never come out because those people are like most people. You're like what Monique is doing is not the normal thing. This is not how most people handle conflict resolution and stuff. This is not how people normally handle even disputes. They don't always go public with them. Of course, Twitter loves it. Of course, social media loves it. Of course, podcast listeners love it because it's content. It's not actually our lives. So if these people are fucked up and fucking each other up, we don't really care about them. You know, we can say it's about blackness. We can say, but at the end of the day, we don't really fucking care. They're not us. And if we had the same conflicts, we would probably not handle it that way. You know, even if you have a platform. I know there's a lot of motherfuckers I'm giving grace every goddamn day I get on this mic. Well, I'm like, I'm not going to come out to the world and tell my versions of events of shit that's happened just because I don't think it's fruitful, and I'm not going to hide it behind like I'm doing this for black people or whatever the fuck. It just so happens that the things that are for black people happen to always benefit you, right? It's for black people. So, but also I need that check, you know? So I try to be wary of my own ego about that shit. And also, whenever you tell that side, the other person got a right to tell their side, right?
Agreed.
And when you talk about certain figures, we know they won't be telling their side. More than likely, Kevin Hart's not ever going to come out and say whatever happened with him and Monique. He didn't tell us he gave her money. So he, you know, for all the he's a bad person, I hate him type shit. If he's the self, you know, gratifying type, he be the first motherfucker out here. Like, I wrote her a check when she was broke. How about that, everybody? I'm a good person, but you know, I didn't know that shit. If he said it, I've never seen it. I'm not saying he never said it, but I've never heard it. Oprah and Tyler Perry, even having her in that movie and producing it and putting the money for it. People act like that shit just falls out of this goddamn sky. That could have been Octavia Butler, and she would have went to the goddamn festival, and we would have never thought about this shit again, and you wouldn't even be able to use this as a cudgel to bludgeon them and be like, they're terrible people. But because of how she's the one telling the story, and they're probably going to be quote unquote too big to come down and tell everybody, well, this is my side of it. And this is why I don't feel, because it's been long enough for me to go, they probably don't feel they should apologize. It's been 17 years and they've never said anything. They either feel like this is a distraction or this is like not worth it, or I don't think I'm the one who's wrong and we'll never have to hear their side because they're not going to share it.
Correct. And my thing is, I think that they have the right to do that too. Like, they have the right to be like, oh, I'm not going to address this.
Yeah. I don't think anyone on this podcast is saying opposite of that.
Right. And I think that because people like Mess, a lot of people demand that they talk, but you demand
more content.
Yes, you demand they talk because you want to know, you know. And like I say, for me personally, as somebody who has sat back and watched and things like that, it's like nothing's private with her, if that makes sense.
Well, we'll get to that because, like I said, I've actually been watching this stuff. I think you've kind of opted out of watching any of it.
Yes.
Right. So, and it charges people up. You haven't watched it, you ready to go. You over there like, I got some opinions. That's really the superpower of this whole thing. I saw people that when her son put out this 9-minute video, they were like, 9 minutes? I ain't watching that shit. I'm like, you watched a 3-hour fucking interview. You watch, you know, like just say you're on her side and it doesn't matter what the truth is.
Right.
That could be facts for some people. And I think for me, I try to take in the new shit as it happens, and I'm swayed by it if it's compelling enough. And I won't lie, this sways me somewhat. But I mean, D.L. Hewley brought it up in his video. Everybody was shitting on him, but he was like, go talk to her fucking kids. If it's so goddamn, she's the angel, everyone's a sweet baby, she's such a great person, why is she not surrounded by family? Why don't you ever fucking see the family around her? It's just her and that nigga over her shoulder being the mouthpiece, you know? So anyway, her son comes out and basically says, since she spoke on me and said that stuff about our relationship, I would like to at least set the record straight on my behalf, because she hasn't reached out. She isn't trying to bridge this gap. she's not doing any of the work to repair a relationship that he would categorize as being neglected. And it was a video that made me sad. Like this is not, I'm not giddy over this shit to be like, aha, let's take down Monique. It was like a reminder of like, this is a flawed person too that experienced trauma and abuse as a child, and has probably also had some issues, having a family that has, had some of those cycles, possibly repeat in her life. It happens, and a new dude coming into her life in whatever format, and then her accrediting all of the positivity in her life to this man that she calls daddy, that used to be the friend of the family, that this kid probably grew up thinking was like an uncle, and now it's daddy. Like, that shit fucks with people. And he didn't sound, I'm not sad because he sounded bitter or angry or whatever. He wasn't like making jokes about it. It didn't even really seem like he was trying to get clout off of it, although Sydney later tries to imply some shit like that. It sounded like he was resolute and was like, can y'all just leave me out of it? Like, y'all can go tell all your stories about all the people y'all hate, but just, I would prefer to not, y'all don't have to lie about us being cool or about us working on something or you trying to bridge some type of gap or putting some type of effort for, because you haven't put that effort for, and you've never shown me that love as a mom, which is heartbreaking, to hear. But I'll play some of the video. See, I don't know how long it's gonna be.
Hi, I am Shalon. I am a stand-up comedian, Monique's oldest son. I guess I felt the need to make this video to just provide some context into this false narrative about her praying to the universe. I need to reconcile our relationship or whatever the hell it is. I wrote it all down so that way I don't go all over the place and get emotional or anything like that. So I'm going to talk like I'm reading a script, but it's just going to help me kind of stay together. But to address the Club Shay Shay interview that she did where she states that she prays to the universe in regards to reconciling our relationship, as I stated, is odd. My mother and I both know that that is a very false narrative, and I would like to free her of having to continue telling that lie. Faith without work is dead, and not.
And I think that's important phrasing, just because her whole thing, and this happens every time someone goes on Club Shay Shay and gets to tell one side of the story. It's all, I tell nothing but the truth. Everyone else is lying. I'm a good person and they're all bad people. And people eat that shit up and they be on social media and everywhere the next day. Like, that's the facts. They're a good person. Everyone else is a bad person. They told nothing but truth. Everyone else is telling nothing but lies. And I feel like that's why the space Shannon has created is at once, it can be revolutionary, but it's also a very dangerous space, especially knowing the pitchforks and the torches that people carry constantly on social media about.
Yes, on social media.
Like, they just need a reason to be bad to other people.
Yes, and
especially people they're jealous of, celebrities, people that have gossip around them. All these figures. It's why everyone's like, oh, they all stole Cat Williams jokes, and it's like, well, how's that? All of them, everything he said was true, and but they can't. It's, the narrative is stronger than the truth, and so I think when he says, let me basically stop you from having to keep telling this lie, I feel like that's a purposeful point he's making. Like, you were lying, miss, I sat up there and told the truth for 3 hours. That's not true.
Neither one of us cares to put forth any effort to reconcile with the other. We are separate, as she put it, because she doesn't care to be my mother any more than I care to be her son. Neither one of us has had the desire to reach out to the other in a very long time, and I don't think that either of us anticipates that feeling ever returning. Speaking with my mother directly, in my experience, will either lead to some odd newfound moment of clarity in regards to how she was as my mother, or she retreats back to daddy to move forward with a conversation. And I'm tired of hearing my mother's truths. Newsflash, I'm not sure if people know, but standing in your truth doesn't make you noble. I'm not sure.
That's a bar.
I agree. Right. But
That's a bar.
yes, I agree.
Especially when we know truth is in quotes, because people's truth is subjective.
Yes.
And when they're telling it, and like I said, you know, Cat Williams, Monique, very charismatic, very smart, very funny. When I see them talking, I am moved to be like, whatever they're saying, I support that. You know what I mean? I sat there and watched 3 hours of that interview and was like, I want all this to be true for her. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say I sat up there and believed every word. I'm not gonna say I sat up there and thought there couldn't be another side of that story where she's not the good guy. But for that 3 hours, I was like, yeah, sister, go ahead and talk that talk, you know? But at the end of the day, imagine being on the other side of that. You know, the story she tells herself is it sounds like her life started when she met Sydney, but I know this is her third husband. People have told me she talked like that about the other men in her life before this. I don't know because I didn't see it myself. But even the way she talks about Sydney, you would think they were together since they were kids. But you know, she's kind of like, you know, I'm giving him all the credit for everything good in my life from the point that we got together, basically. And I was thinking about it. The undercurrent of that feels weird to me because it's almost like she's saying the stuff she had gotten before then, either she was a terrible person or it wasn't good enough or she was doing bad or something. And she was still Monique before she got with Sydney, but
it doesn't count.
Yeah, it's like in order for her to be anything, she has to say he made her everything. And it comes across in interview after interview after interview. More so than anything else, I would say, more so than the Tyler Perry shit to me, is her being like, this man here gets all the credit for what you see me do, period. And it's I'll get to Sydney in a second, but I was thinking about something today when it comes to Sydney. I'll get to that in a second, but anyway, I'll play a little bit more of her son, and I'll summarize the rest.
Sure, people are aware of that. But responding this way, I feel as though it allows me to say my piece uninterrupted. To those wondering, well, why say something now? Call it a form of therapy for me, I suppose. But when her daddy had intentionally stated that they have 3 sons, but his wife is on the internet talking about the 4th son in a video that has millions of views, that rubbed me the wrong way. But anyway, to inform a child that you are not interested in being a mother at a time when that kid is the only kid, that has the potential to lead a child to believe that you are not interested in them specifically.
So, like I said, I'll summarize. Basically, he goes on to talk about how when she had him, I think she was 22 or so, but she was younger. And while she did manage to like give him, like provide him with like school, you know, give him grand gesture gifts and stuff, she wasn't there. And she said it in other interviews and stuff, she wasn't there for him in the day-to-day stuff that you do as a mom, as a parent, you know, reading that book before tuck you in the bed type thing, because she was chasing celebrity and fame and working hard and hustling and all that stuff. And so she never really connected with him as a son, you know. And then from his point of view, at least in this, you know, thing that he posted, this video, he makes it sound like she at some point told him like, I wasn't really trying to be your mom, you know, like it was too much for me to try to be your mom. And it doesn't, to me, this doesn't sound like clout chasing. It doesn't sound like, you know, maybe I'm being fooled, but it didn't seem like this was his way of like, and now follow me and I'll be opening for so-and-so at Yuck Yucks tonight. Like, it didn't seem like that. It didn't seem like, well, let me hit the like button, subscribe. Like, it felt.
Yeah, it sounded like he wouldn't have said a word if they hadn't said anything about him.
Right. And also, you know, I think we're so dismissive of people's mental health when it's on a group we don't want to be empathetic for. And I think him being a black man who he has, he has kids now, and she's not interested in being their grandmother and stuff like that. People got every conspiracy other than what I think looks kind of obvious, which is that he was hurt by a lack of, at least perception of a lack of love from his mother figure, his mother.
Right.
And that's a pain and a wound that many motherfuckers are walking around with, but we just make it sound like, well, nigga, you grown now, or whatever, get over it or whatever.
Yeah, and it's not that simple.
Well, and especially hypocritical to me if you get over it, but you've been team Monique should never get off of Oprah's net. Then to me, I'm like, what the fuck? What is even your stance on anything?
Right, and it's also, one of the things where being a parent is complicated, and the only person that gets to determine if you're a good parent or not is that child, because that child has to live with you being there, not being there, being absent. They're the one that has to go through missed birthdays or being there on their birthdays and graduations and all of those things. And when children are younger, they don't actually care about money and gifts. What they care about is your time. Like, your time is very valuable until they get to a certain age, and then they kind of want to go off and do their own thing.
And it's hard to be a parent, I'm sure. We're not kid parents, like I don't want to belittle this. And a lot of people, I mean, you look at the way they view parenthood, the way they view, a lot of people walk around with wounds themselves, and they don't even know they fucked up. And they like,
right,
well, it sounds totally reasonable to me. What's the big deal? And it's like, because maybe they had some issues with parents, and they're like, I got over it. It's kind of like whoopings, where when if you grew up getting whooped, you have that thought in your head of like, they helped me, or I got over it, so why the fuck can't everybody else? What's wrong with that? And so that, once again, that's how cycles of abuse, repeat. So, and in his case, he says, he basically goes on to say he was neglected, and that the gifts and stuff she tried to do, that doesn't mean the same thing to him.
Right.
Like he's like, and he says she doesn't put forth the effort because you're the mother. You're going to have to be the one to put forth the effort to mend this bridge. I, as your child, should not have to be pushing all the effort for you to be my mom. I shouldn't be meeting you halfway on this one, Now, look, I don't know. Like, Monique and them talk about everything. So they did put out a video about this, and I'll play some of that too. But when I tell you this video gave me the creeps, it just made me be like, this is fucked up. Like, but I'll play that one in a second. But yeah, it's just heartbreaking and sad. I don't, we don't know the details. He didn't. That's another thing. If he was just trying to like, destroy her, I feel like he would have put all these details out there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she did this and she did that, but he really did. It sounded more like can we just not pretend?
Right.
And if we don't have to pretend, I'm good, you're good. Because what also happens too is people know this is their son, and these motherfuckers tag him and they hit him up on social media and shit, because it's a video that has millions of views on YouTube. So people aren't minding their business either, and so you feel like, I guess I better set the record straight. But yeah, they're still not in community.
And it's one of the things to where he addressed it and they came back, and we'll see what happens after this, but like you said, if it's something where he was going after clout, he would have went into, I didn't listen, but I'm assuming he didn't go into a lot of detail.
Right. I think, or I'll be back tomorrow, guys.
Right.
I'm gonna be unveiling the real, it didn't seem that way to me. Like I said, maybe he's fooling me, but I don't know. Once again, these are strangers. So her and Sydney put out a video, and it was like an Instagram live. It was like 30 something minutes. I obviously will not be playing all of it. But they put their video out. Lots of empty space. They wanted us to see the backyard, I guess. It was, normally you kind of turn it down.
Let them know that y'all got them bay windows.
Yeah, let us know y'all balling.
All right, we're gonna wait for some of the babies to come in the room.
I hate Instagram. I can't fast forward this shit.
So we
you
can
can
have
on
this conversation.
Instagram?
No, I don't think so. Not on the computer.
Oh, you have to be kind of on the phone.
Oh wait, I think I know. I think I can find the Twitter clips of it. But yeah, I'm gonna play some of this, and then y'all can see hopefully what really skeeved me out about the whole thing. Because let me see. I think I may have it on my page. Let me just check, guys. Sorry about this. Nope. But yeah, it kind of skeeved me out because like they're sitting on that couch and they're supposed to be talking about her son, their relationship and whatever healing that entails or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell you, at least in the first few minutes that I saw, Monique may have said 2 sentences, and Sydney was just talking and talking and talking. And then he flips it over to Tyler Perry and Oprah and Stephen A. Smith,
Everything
and Jason Whitlock.
But what about? And now I'm not trying to be funny. This is somebody coming from somebody who really hadn't been following it. I go, okay, all you doing, in my opinion, is just justifying that what he said was a true statement.
Yeah,
like that made. I was like, okay, that video was valid.
Yeah, I really, truly do not know how people can sit there and feel like that shit was like a good look for her. I saw somebody try to be like, yeah, they set the record straight. She came with the receipts. I'm like, those weren't receipts. Like whatever you were hoping for this, like the
That's that teen shit.
Yeah, and that's why I said
Right.
a lot of it just feels like agendas or something to me, because
gender wars and all kinds of shit mixed in there.
it just feels like agendas to me, because I can't imagine people really look at this stuff the way, or maybe it's just their traumas are informing their viewing of it, and I don't have the same ones that. But I'm like, I saw a dude fucking talking for her, and then saying this is about protecting her as a black woman, and I'm like, it sounds like she's just been a mouthpiece for your bad business and your grievances with people not cooperating with your contracts. That's what it sounds like. Everyone's the enemy. You're isolating her from fan base to family now and all this shit. It just sounds really fucking. He seemed weird to me. All right, I think this might.
I find it extremely ironic that the last time you saw me, you wanted to be able to call me dad. And I couldn't allow you to call me dad because there's only one dad in your life. And he's a friend of ours.
Come on.
He's a friend of ours. So again, we as people of color, let us stop being embarrassed about having conversations out loud, because you never know who you could be helping.
I hear you, Shalon, talk about money and stuff. It's like, baby, as I told you when you were younger, I told you as a man, don't let nobody introduce you to me. You know who your mama is.
And when folks speak in reference to calling your seed, sometimes, especially when your seed decided to call things off with you because you didn't move for a 34-year-old, 32-year-old man in the time that he wanted to do, because you as a mother, you as an entertainer, you as an actress, you as a grandmother, you as a wife, allotted the time to see him, but he pushed you away. But then when it's time for him and it doesn't work for you, now it's a problem. Listen, it comes a point in time where when you become a man, when you become a woman, it is your obligation to do for you. To do for you. At 31, brother, 32, I'm sitting there on a conversation at the behest of your mother. Why? For you, because I love my nephew.
Gotta be weird growing up with him being your uncle and now your daddy. Her daddy, not even your daddy. He said, don't call me dad. This shit is crazy to me. And of course, we don't need to know any of this shit, but because of the whole the image of this radical, transparent honesty. Everybody should air out all their gripes and grievances. Everybody
function
should,
like that.
yeah, to tell your truth and all that shit. Well, when the truth is inconvenient or you're the bad guy in someone else's story,
Right.
You can see it's basically no way out of it. It's not like she ended this shit and it's gonna, like, when you get off this video, you're gonna, oh, okay, they probably worked it out. Like, no, this is what, and I think this is what the issue with Club Shay Shay and shit is. You open up a Pandora's box, you do no fact checking, you have no legal department, you have no news department, nothing is verified. You literally just sit there and react to people saying anything, like with just flabbergasted, just, oh my god, oh, what you saying, like, that's the whole style of interview. This is why you're starting to see ripple effects. It's including the professional jealousy of, I've been on YouTube for 12 years and you get millions of views and I'm not, from other comedians who talk shit about people all the time.
Yes, sir.
Mike Epps and Corey Holcomb talk shit about other people all the time. So the idea that they're just so offended doesn't make sense. But the idea that they want some of them clicks, some of them views, that makes sense to me. Now, they're not going to come out and just say that, but Mike Epps lying about Shannon wanting him on the show and then finding out he asked Shannon to be on the show, that says a lot. Like, okay, you were after a certain thing that you're not getting. So anyway, all that stuff to say, when you have an environment like that really feels like a free-for-all, the internet is the free-for-all.
Yes, the internet loves stuff like that with no rules, no regulations.
People are watching you going, what the fuck? Because everyone's not going to take it like that. What's happening is you go on there and you talk about people that have more to lose than you, who seem to be more reserved or classy or conservative or whatever. They're never going to get in a mud fight with you in public.
Mm-mm.
They are I know people, it was framed as it was such an egregious violation, but I didn't find it to be so egregious. The idea of Tyler Perry being like, yeah, don't work with her. Because everybody was like, oh my, see, he's a dirty dog. Why would you say that? It's like, because if people are going to ask him, because it was very public, what happened? We are thinking about having Monique in this project. What happened with y'all? And what do you think? And more than likely, he probably was pissed about that shit and has been for years being like, I wouldn't work with her. Like, that's what I'm guessing is happening. I don't know. Maybe he's literally calling people on the phone and saying, take her off the thing. She can't work,
Yeah, I doubt that.
But more than likely, it's, I don't like that person. I think they did me wrong. They think I did them wrong. I think they did me wrong.
Yeah, because everybody got their own version of the events.
I wouldn't blame Kevin Hart if at this point he's like, oh yeah, that's fine. That's why I didn't work with you. You know what I mean? Like, because there's also like a professional part of relationships where you expect some shit to stay between y'all. And I don't mean that has to be some dirty, nefarious underground shit, but just we're professionals, we're working together, not everything's for the public.
Right.
And if there's a person who's like, I'm the opposite of that, it makes it, you become quote unquote difficult to work with without being difficult to work with, right? She's never, that I heard, been any level of unprofessional, discourteous, mean to people, any of that stuff on the set. But it becomes that's not the working environment that I want to have. And we can't frame the whole thing around your sensibilities. It's only 30 seconds left. I'm sorry.
And we still love you, Shalom. That's why your mother and your father interact with one another, to let them be aware of what's happening with you. So if you think you're not loved, that's because you're not paying attention. And there are other dynamics that fall into play, in which we completely understand. And for you too, we're going to keep the light on for you, brother.
So once again, I saw a lot of this video and I feel like he talked 99% of it, even though it's her son and the son's not addressing him. Right. Like, he barely brought up Sydney. It's like, listen, you're the mom. You're my mom. This ain't about me going through the nigga you call daddy or none of this shit. This is about our relationship and us. And instead we're here with it, But yeah, it creeps me out how much he talked. I don't know if it creeped you out too, but it creeps me out, especially considering like to
And-
me, the image I have of Monique, and this image she's manufactured or whatever, but it's amazing boss bitch that runs her life and does what she wants and all this stuff, you know, and seeing how much, and this is not the first time we've seen this, a video of her addressing something and he do most of the talking. And I'm like, if this is what his protection is, it feels weird to me.
Yeah, and also the thing is, she has a voice. She did Club Shay Shay. Any other time, she opens up her mouth, she speaks where she goes on a motherfucking stage and tell goddamn jokes. So we know that she can speak for herself and speak on her behalf anytime that she chooses to. So she's opting to let him do this on her behalf. And the thing, and you know, and that's the reality of it, because any other time she's talking, she's the forefront, because I don't know if he's in the room or not there, but she's the mouthpiece. So it's, the thing is, you call yourself addressing something that you didn't address. You didn't even address the thing. And as a child, I'm like, nigga, you're not my daddy. You even said you're not my daddy. So if anybody should respond, it should be my mom.
Right.
That should be responding to me, because this thing is between me and her. And it's one of those things where, as a child, and this is no slight to him, but it's like, nigga, I was there when you wasn't, and I, you know, she had me before you ever came into her life.
Well, no, Sydney was her friend since she was 16 or something.
Okay. So
But even with that though, like, it's not your son,
right?
You know, and honestly, it would be better to not even address it than this. But I think this is the flaw in all the shit that she's been doing and that Sydney's and them been doing. It's all been to win the internet. It's all been to win public opinion. Get us on her side. We'll make enough of a groundswell to make the powerful people of Tyler Perry and Oprah bow down to her and the whole industry get her way. And then it's all been framed as the things that benefit me are really about benefiting all Black women, because if I'm not getting a check, then that means no Black women are going to get a check. And she's making the industry seem like, because we know the industry is a sexist, misogynistic, racist place, it's making it seem like that's the only reason I'm having issues, and that's the only reason Black women are having issues. So if I don't have issues, it'll fix what's wrong with Black women. That's the way it's constantly framed. And in some of the video, he slips into that. And I'm like, is that even her talking to him?
Right.
Because he's the one that starts turning into like, well, Stephen A. Smith, you said she was bitter. How you gonna call a Black woman, your sister, bitter that you call? And I'm like, he's really running to this like protect Black women thing. But when it was DL Hewley's daughter, that shit did not matter. You know what I mean? Like that.
I've been on
he sat over her shoulder when that shit happened too.
Yeah, I've been on the receiving end of the black girl power, black
right
girl shit. And when it came to me, it was like, fuck you, bitch.
Right.
So, it's one of those things where when people say that, everybody doesn't mean that.
Yeah.
And they don't mean to everybody. They just mean it for a selective group of women.
Yeah. So I think, I think it was really sad to me, because even seeing her basically be silent and him do all the fucking talking about her son felt weird and fucked up. And the reason I don't feel bad saying that is because you've been telling us your business and everyone else's business because you want us all to have these opinions and fall in line and shit. You've been making this public business. To be honest, I never gave a fuck about any of this shit from day one.
Agreed.
But you decided that this matters to all of us, and now it is public knowledge and perception and all this stuff. And the radical honesty can't stop with you. It can't be like, well, now that I'm getting fried, maybe we should keep this in the house. Because even Sydney tried to say some shit about, we not going to use our platform to try to bash you. I'm like, nigga, you just did.
Because you're addressing it, because you are addressing this.
Yeah,
right?
like you can't do it. And then it's like when she has a habit of shitting on someone hard and then telling about saying, but I love you and I loved you, sister, and all this. And you're like, hey, just because you're saying it at the end of you insulting me doesn't make it true.
Right.
How can you love me? You don't know me. This is you're like, it's okay not to love me. You shitted
Right,
on me
'cause-
and you don't like me and I probably don't like you and
Right.
that's cool.
Right. And everybody don't love me and everybody don't like me. And that's just life. And it's one of those things where that's that thing where people go, I'm quote unquote telling my truth, and my quote unquote truth, quote unquote, it's always mean and harsh and bitter sounding, but it's your truth though. No, you're just being mean.
Right. And so yeah, they didn't say that they talk about Stephen A. Smith and I'm not even saying they're wrong to say that Stephen A. calling her bitter was fucked up, considering when he went at Jason Whitlock and called him a fat piece of shit and fat bastard. You didn't sound bitter. How can you can handle your shit your way, but I totally agree that Stephen A. is hypocritical with that kind of shit. He does it all the time, and it's what's good for him. You can't really trust a Stephen A. opinion more than what he's saying at the moment for entertainment, because he's mostly an entertainer.
Right. That's what he does.
He can change his mind or change his point of view with the flick of a wrist. I've watched it. I watch First Take sometimes just to see his rhetorical wit and ability to do that.
Oh, he's a master
because he's so good at it. But
Yes,
I
he
don't.
is.
If you ask me, do I really know what Stephen A. is about? No, I
Mhm.
actually don't. And I think you can attribute that to his high level of skill of being about what he needs to be about that day in that moment.
Right.
And if you feel like it doesn't logically connect, he's prepared to give you an argument that may or may not make sense to you. But he always got something in the clip. But I do find that to be hypocritical. But yeah, they claim they received death threats, a death threat that is contingent on them issuing a public apology. They did not go into detail, but said they've taken measures to assure their safety. So who knows what that means?
Right.
Like I said, the Stephen A. Smith thing, the Tyler Perry thing. I wish I had that direct clip, because literally watching that man go from her son to. But let's get back to Tyler Perry and Oprah, and I'm like, why is that even the thing?
Yeah, because
The Sun put out a video.
Mhm.
Y'all put out a video to somehow correct the record about the Sun. Why are we gonna go another 30 minutes talking about Oprah and Tyler Perry?
Right.
This shit is weird, and you doing all the talking, dude. And that's what I was gonna get to about Sydney, Karen. We've been together since we were 16. I've known you forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we sat in an interview and you started giving me all the credit for all the good things that happened in your life and calling me your daddy, not even in the patriarchal, like gendered sex machismo way, your literal fucking daddy, I could not sit there and I would have to be like, don't do that.
Right.
I had to talk to the interviewer like she says that. I don't agree with that, and I just want that on the record that she don't need to do all that. I don't feel like I'm her daddy.
Right. I didn't ask and nor demand this.
But you know who I've never heard do that? Sydney. And that is as a man, as a husband, as a person that's known a wife since 16, that's best friends, that work together, that get their money together. Now, look, I'm going to be honest. Karen's not all the talent, and I'm just siphoning the money. I do a lot of work around here. Okay?
Don't y'all believe his lies?
I've written for TV shows. I earned my part. I earned my part.
I do the work too. Now I do spend a lot of money and go to the Hornets games. I'm not gonna lie, but I do the work too.
I don't just go get the money and then I'll manage the money. We get the money together.
Your achievements is our achievements.
Yeah.
I was writing too.
But the point being, like, that was the thing for me that clicked the day that I went, yeah, I actually can't pretend that this shit is cool. Like, and I look, I'm not. People have different relationships formats. People are polyamorous. I don't care if that she's in an open marriage. None of that shit bothers me. But this shit does bother me, and it wouldn't matter if you weren't the one constantly telling me this is the right way, telling other women this is the right way. That this nigga is doing all the talking and he the daddy and you're the one getting the money. It is weird. That nigga feel weird, and all the fucking conflicts start with some shit with him. Even the shit with the son, it seemed he's the one addressing the son, not you. So like, he seemed to be the problem. Now that's your man. You picked him. You gonna be with him forever. That's or whatever. However long y'all together, and that's that. Like, it's not no. Like, I'm not saying she doesn't have a right to make these decisions, but whatever they think they're doing with the court of public opinion, for me, is just not curling over. And I just feel bad. I don't think it's a competition. I saw people being like, "Ha ha, she lost," and I'm like, that's the most callous, unempathetic way to have looked at this whole fucking thing.
Right.
But it really feels like a cycle of just bad family betrayal shit following her, and
They just
I
have
don't
him
know
on
what
a
you do with
public
that.
platform, but
Yeah.
a lot of people deal with.
You decided to make us aware of your business.
Yeah, you bought us in. We didn't ask to be here.
And I think that's the thing about the about the Shay Shay show, the Club Shay Shay. I think that's the thing that people like Mike Epps and Corey Holcomb aren't going to be able to articulate. They're just going to call them gay and move on with it. You know, they're going to just make jokes. They're comedians and, whatever.
That's what they do, right?
But I think if they were a little more lucid and present and honest about it, I think they'd say something to the effect of, you go on there and let everybody tell everybody else's business. And we in Hollywood feel like you got some business that you don't want out there in the streets. And so we're going to put your business out there so you can see how it feels, because it's a warning shot of you need to stop doing this. Because it's cool when it's comedians and it's not your life. Like, we're not real people. When you're on the couch bringing up other people's names, hoping that the person sitting across from you will talk shit about them. You didn't bring us up for good reasons. You're like, oh, what about Mike Epps? You didn't say that because you wanted Cat Williams to say, oh, love that guy, salt of the earth. You're disappointed when he's like, I don't have nothing to say about Mike Epps. Like, you're disappointed. That's the point of your show, to get more content for 3 hours or however long the person will talk to you. Why is my dirt okay? Your dirt is not. You don't verify shit. You don't refute shit. You don't check shit. You don't call the person and make sure it's okay to air. Why is it okay for you to do that on your platform? But when I get on this stage and start talking about the rumors of you being gay and shit, you don't like that shit. Now you want to meet me in the streets and you want to fight. Now you want to pull up on me. Like, and I'm just doing my job. You can make the argument. This is my platform. I'm doing my job. I'm a comedian. I'm doing my job. There's a perception about you, and we think that's funny. We think that makes you uncomfortable. You being uncomfortable is funny to us because your whole thing is making everybody else uncomfortable with what happens on your show. I think if they could articulate it, that's what they would say. Now, they're not going to say that. They're just going to be like, oh, this nigga look like Madea. And that's, which is another reason you don't want to fight them niggas, because they so funny. They're not going to be serious, and you just going to look stupid being mad about it, But yeah, it's so I was thinking about all that when I saw it. I know you haven't seen it, but I know you probably have more thoughts, even with this being your first time hearing it. So go ahead, please.
Yeah, because, and like I said before, she could speak for herself. She could have spoke. Like, any other time, you have no problem articulating what you say, how you feel, standing in your truth. You have no problem being on the spotlight and being on stage, because when you go on stage, Sydney is not up there with you. You go on stage all alone, all by yourself. I seen the clip where the first thing of the Cat Williams tour, they stood up and they gave her a standing ovation. That was you. He was not there. And so you could have spoke on your own behalf. I think that you purposefully decided to be timid. I think that you purposefully decided for him to speak, so that any shots or slings are fired that will be aimed towards him and not towards you. It was just strategic and purposefully done, in my opinion. And so, because it's less accountability for you and more accountability for him, and it makes the appearance of not trying to be funny, you being weak and fragile, and everybody feeling empathy and compassion for you, and making it feel like you're just being attacked. And like you did nothing wrong, and everything that your child saying is a lie.
And maybe that's where, like I said, in her mind, I can see that to her, like, that's where the protection is. Like, he's protecting me right now. In my mind, I'm like, you can speak for yourself. You speak through your art. You do all this stuff. Here it is. This is a public facing camera. We're following you.
Right.
Like, it's your Momo World Live or whatever. Like, it's your
right. It's not his
thing.
account.
We didn't come to see Sydney.
Don't care.
It's like you said, it is a choice to sit there silent and let him talk for 30 of the 37 minutes, with you barely addressing anything that you said we came there to see.
Right. And also, like I said, this is just me on the outside looking in. It's one of those things where it was perfectly designed like that. It was perfectly designed to have that space above their head so you don't look as big. You don't look at because when you're presenting on camera.
I chalk that up to just them being old, but go ahead.
That might be a possibility
Because
too.
I've seen some other videos they've done too, and it's never right, Karen.
Okay, my bad. My bad. It's just old people being old and don't know how to set up their cameras and bring the frame down.
No children in the house to help you with the video, you kind of end up in some bad situations. I think that's what happened.
No problem. And and also in my opinion, you making this video after he made his video, in my opinion, this just makes me personally believe that what that child, he's a grown man, but what your child saying was the truth. And it makes me more confident that he didn't do it for clout. I truly believe him when he says the only reason why I said something is because you brought me up. You haven't said anything about me, so I haven't said anything about you. You brought me up. It's not even the fact that I wanted to address this. Like you said, it was probably everybody pinging, tagging, tagging. Till it was like, okay, fuck it, I will address this. And for the fact that it was heartfelt, it was sincere. You could tell like he didn't want his thoughts to be all over the place, so he wrote stuff down. So he was reading it just so he can kind of get the facts out there, get everything out there, just so you won't have, because when you're telling things like that, it's easy to get very emotional. But sometimes when you tell certain things, you have to emotionally detach yourself so that you can be like, these are the facts. This is what's going on. Because a lot of times when you start pouring emotions into certain things, particularly with the internet, people feel all types of ways. People fill in the blanks. People call it whatever it may be. But no, he was like, no, these are the stories I'm going to tell, because at the end of the day, he's the only one that can tell the truth about the childhood that he experienced with you being his mother. Sydney can't do that. He's a child, and the child is the only one that gets to validate and not validate, or tell you a good parent, bad parent, whatever. The child gets to tell their story too. And also, it's one of those things where once I came to this conclusion, it just made me view parents differently. A child has to know their parents in order to survive. You have to, because as a child, your parents, they provide for you, they put food on your plate, like they do these necessities for you. So as a child, you have to know your parents' quirks, your personality, what makes them mad, sad, happy, when they're depressed, when they're angry. You have to know that as a form of survival as a child. Because as a child, if you don't do certain things, depending on what households you're in, there are consequences and punishments to your actions based on that parent. So you have to know your parent's personality, but it is not a demand on the parent to reciprocate that. A parent does not have to know their child. They don't have to. It's not an obligation for them to know their child. If you're a good parent and you care, you will know your child. You will learn your child. You know their quirks. You'll start reading books. You start learning love language. You'll start educating yourself into how can I become a better parent. You start doing the things when you start remembering how it was when you was a child and putting yourself in their shoes and not always thinking of things from the mind of an adult. Because there are things that can stress children out. To a parent, you're like, the fuck is you stressed out about? But to that child, it is the world. To that child, it is everything. But as a parent, you have these different things going on. You're trying to get them dressed, get them ready, get them to school, cook, clean, blah, blah, blah. You're trying to do these things. And a lot of times parents can be dismissive of children, purposefully and sometimes not purposefully, sometimes by accident, because you got too much shit to do and it's a high demand on you, quote unquote, being a perfect parent. Because a parent sometimes stresses themselves out trying to be a perfect parent to their child and missing the mark because they're too busy looking at other things instead of looking at the personal needs of each child. Because you can have multiple children and each children has a different need, which means it demands different things from you as a parent. And so once I understood that, it made me look at parenting different. It made me look at parents different. It made me have compassion. It made me have understanding. And it made me not be as hard on parents when parents fuck up and do shit wrong.
Yeah, I think that's definitely part of it. But I think the stuff he's saying seems beyond that.
Agreed.
I think you're just talking about how hard it is to be a parent. He's saying neglect. He's saying not feeling loved. He's saying being told I didn't want to be your mother, you know,
Correct.
feeling unwanted. Which I think is beyond just, oh well, being a parent is stressful. That's some other shit.
And I agree.
Whatever trauma she had or whatever has been like, whatever she was chasing, whether it was fame or career, whatever, that like I think what he's saying is even, and I'm like, this is not an argument against you, it's just adding on to whatever he's saying is even beyond just the difficulty of parenting.
Yes, and that's why I said what I said before, and when I said that a parent is not obligated to know a child, because it's one of those things. As a parent, you can make the right to be invested or not be invested, and so she made that particular choice to do those things, and he had to deal with the consequences and the fallout of her being a parent making that choice.
Yeah, I hear you. I guess to me, when I think of not knowing a child, maybe I think of just like inattentiveness as opposed to like neglect. You know what I mean? Like a person feeling
it could be
neglected.
a little bit of both.
Yeah. No, dude, I'm not saying this is not argument. Just I'm literally saying this is what I was thinking of. That's why I said what I said, because I was like,
cool.
You know, to me, what she did is even I can understand being inattentive. I can understand and being stressed out because it's hard for me to understand, you know, not just being neglectful, but then meeting this man and then giving him all the credit for how good a mom you are now. But I don't know. But I guess, you know, it's another thing too. It's very gendered because obviously men do this all the time, and people don't even hold men. We don't even care. Not saying no, that's not fair. We do care because Brian McKnight, they fried his ass. We still frying him. It's not true. But the point being, like, when like Future has 38 kids and we're like, it's no way this nigga's in all their lives, that person does get to keep on existing. But now that I'm talking about it and thinking about it out loud, none of those people try to be the moral high ground for anything. So actually, maybe it's not unique to women as much as it's, because I think women do have a different standard when it comes to parenting, and more is expected of them. But also those niggas that we know don't do shit for their kids, or, you know, are bad parents, they typically do not fucking, they don't care. You know what I mean? Lil Boosie gives his opinion on all this shit. He don't care.
Nope.
A million of us could be like, bro, you homophobic, you this, that, and the other, and he will never give a fuck. But he's not also like trying to position us, you know, I'm the king of radical honesty that is bringing us all accountable and shit. Anyway, it just made me sad, mostly. Nothing real good popping up there.
And that's true. To me, same thing. It makes me sad. It makes me feel as though it's a lot of hurt and pain everywhere. You know, a lot of things, you know, hashed out, discussed, therapy. Like, it's a lot of things that need to happen. If these things happen, that's beyond my control, you know. But at the end of the day, a lot of people are here, and they will continue to be here for Mess because she keeps talking. So they keep showing up and they keep listening every time she talks.
Yeah, and they, you know, they 37 minutes of just dismissing him, for people that claim to be offended at anything less than a full-throated apology and money and shit in the way that you would like it. I don't know, man. It really, seeing them on the other side act like, if Oprah did this to them, they would be pissed.
Yes.
If Tyler Perry put out a 37-minute video like this, they would be so fucking mad.
Of course.
And then to see like, and it's just that, so accountability is not for everybody. You know, and it's public, so, you know, good luck to all that shit. But J-Lo revealed that Ayo Edebiri, comedian, actress, apologized for previous insults ahead of SNL appearance. So Ayo recently hosted Saturday Night Live. She won an Emmy for The Bear. She is like, she plays the sister of Janine in Abbott Elementary. She's like a up and coming it actress. She's been in like hit movies, everything. And she was tagged of, hey, you're gonna host Saturday Night Live. Just so happened the musical guest was gonna be J-Lo. Also happens that Ayo had hosted an episode. I mean, Ayo had had spoke critically of Lopez in the past. She claimed that J-Lo's whole career was one. Someone said J-Lo's whole career is one long scam, and she had replied, "Well, that's the thing. She thinks she's on multiple tracks, but it's not her. I think she thinks that she's still good, even though she's not singing for most of those songs. A lot of write-ups of the songs would be like J-Lo didn't have time to make it to the studio. Like J-Lo was busy doing what? Not singing, obviously. And so this joke, people were sharing it. People were like, oh, look, how's she going? They gonna be on the show together. What's gonna happen?" And so behind the scenes, apparently, she apologized. J-Lo said she was mortified and very sweet. She came to my dressing room, apologized with tears in her eyes, saying how terrible it was that she had said those things. She felt really bad and loved my performance because we had just done my sound check and she actually got to hear me perform. She was just like, "I'm so fucking sorry. It's so awful of me. It's funny," Lopez added. "Ain't it funny? It's funny. I've heard similar things about me throughout my career, so it didn't really affect me." And yeah, then I guess they were in the Itty Bitty was also in the sketch that mentioned her past comments on the show. She appeared in a game show skit alongside Kenan Thompson, who forced contestants to reckon with their rude social media comments. At one point during the sketch, her character Pendleton and says, "Okay, we get it. It's wrong to leave mean comments or post comments just for clout or run your mouth on a podcast, and you didn't consider the impact because you're 24 and stupid. But I think I speak for everyone when I say from now on, we're going to be a lot more thoughtful about what we can post online."
That's cute.
Yeah, a lot of people on Twitter did not like that she apologized, and because when they saw the original comments, they were like, "She's right. What's wrong with that? Why would J-Lo be offended?" And it's like, because she is a person and it was a joke at their expense. It didn't seem like J-Lo demanded an apology. It seemed like, and this is the thing, man, like people can't make up their minds when comedy is just comedy and when it requires an apology, because whenever one of these offensive comedians says it's just jokes, they like, it's not jokes. People are literally dying. But whenever somebody we like makes a joke, we like, what's the big deal?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Wishy-washy and flip-flop.
Like Chris Rock should have known about the alopecia. You just like, okay, so that was okay. Right. That joke was too far. Like, but nah, saying this bitch can't sing, that's nothing.
And what happened to growing up and mature and realizing that you fucked up? Like,
listen, when Nick Jew hosts SNL and Alicia Keys is the goddamn guest, Karen,
come on,
it's gonna be. They're gonna have to fight.
I can't wait.
They're gonna have to fight. She can't possibly take it back. She's a great actress, but I don't know if she's gonna be able to muster that one.
Yeah, she'll get that Tony. She's gonna be on SNL, and they're gonna be like, "This is the guest," and now we'll have to see.
Yeah, she got to turn to Monique.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my sweet baby is Alicia Keys. I still love you, good sister. You just can't. You just need to stay in your range. That's all. It's your register.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So, but Tiffany Haddish also addressed the Monique interview.
Okay, because she did say something about her, yes.
Yeah. So she was asked by Nichelle Turner about it from ET, Entertainment Tonight. She said, "I'm glad and thankful that I'm on the minds of the people that I look up to," she said. Yeah, she also said, what was the other thing she said? Something about her being an auntie. She said, when speaking with Club Shay Shay, Mo said if Haddish had a husband like hers, blah, blah, blah. We know that. Haddish maintained during her chat with ET over the weekend that she viewed Mo's comments as merely that of an auntie talking.
I can see that.
That's honestly the best way to handle it. That's probably the best way to handle it of all the people that have been talked shit about. Now, she didn't catch a ton of heat, and she could have clapped back and been like, you got a daddy and you go, but she didn't do all that shit. She was like, all right, then. So I respect it.
Yeah, I respect that. And she trying to get a career back and all that stuff. Yeah. So I could be like, you know what?
Yeah, she got bigger problems, bigger fish to fry.
That's what I'm talking about. She was like, Monique,
win this shit.
You the smallest thing in my laundry list of things I got to do.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, man. I thought she handled it pretty well considering, everything that's been going on. It feels like 2024 is a year of shit talking.
Yes, it is.
I was talking to a friend today, and he was saying how like we're just not a serious country. We're not a serious world anymore. I didn't say it on the phone at the time, but it made me think that we are living in a post-serious society.
Yeah. Yes.
We are living. It's crazy.
we-
We got people wanting the president to go on the Breakfast Club and Club Shay Shay.
Right.
This is, and they gonna probably do it. Like, this is post-serious. You know, we got Roger Goodell going on Pat McAfee's show. You know, all the places that you could talk to on ESPN to address people. That's what we're doing. It's a post-serious society.
Yeah, I guess there are a few professionals left. Like, you know, because my thing is, why are you catering towards people that maybe I'm just old and I don't go to certain platforms, but like the fuck, I don't take them
Well,
seriously.
They are professionals. Number one, how dare you? Number two. I mean, they are. This is like people don't think we're professionals. Yes, the fuck we are.
And when I mean professional,
I know what you
I'm
mean.
talking about like professional
Traditional journalists.
Yes.
Right. And what I'm gonna say is, we are in a post-serious society. So you could go on Joy-Ann Reid. Joy-Ann Reid should want Biden and them to go on Joy-Ann Reid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what Joy-Ann Reid wants Biden to go? On Club Shay Shay and the Breakfast Club. We are in a post-serious society. We have lost the plot. You know what I mean? Like, Club Shay Shay will have more views than any presidential address ever. Like if Joe Biden went out there and said student loans on fucking YouTube right now, that shit's not getting as many views as Cat Williams talking for 3 hours. It's just not. We have decided that this is what we are. We're just gonna entertain ourselves to death. And I mean entertain ourselves even with real shit that should be serious.
Right.
We are going to entertain ourselves with losing our freedoms and rights.
Right.
We're going to entertain ourselves with the wars going across seas and who can get the most views on TikTok and who can get the most clicks on their slogans and shit. This is not a serious. We are post-serious. We're not coming up with serious solutions to the very serious problems that we're facing. And I think that's why everything feels the way it feels, right? Everything is about feelings and not about facts. It's about feelings and not solutions. It's about grievance and not, you know, and so all that to say, I know it's a huge tangent. Don't worry, guys. I got high before the show. It's a huge tangent, but it goes back to the J-Lo thing for me. That was a very serious thing that AO did, because she basically said, looking back at what I did, especially being on the other side now.
On the other side,
it was mean, and it was mean-spirited, and it really wasn't fucking called for. And now, and I just found out you can sing at least to the ability, you know, to whatever point,
because you hadn't heard it live, right?
And it was just a funny, you know, kind of street joke or whatever. It's always going to be a funny joke. I'm not saying you can't make the joke, but it got real for her, and she did a serious thing, which is, I hurt your feelings, and I'm sorry about that. Which is, in a post-serious society, that's a death knell. So people were against her right to apologize. They were like, "What? Why would you do that?"
Right. Yeah. This is why somebody like me, who likes truth and facts and you know, people to do their research and shit like that shit irritates the fuck out of me. I was like, some things have to be based in reality, y'all. In reality, like, that shit is stupid.
Taylor Swift had Kanye kicked out of the Super Bowl because he bought a seat in front of her, according to Brandon Marshall. Now, who knows if this is even true?
Right.
But if it is true, another reason to like Taylor Swift. I don't want this nigga at the Super Bowl. Fuck him. Him and his naked wife gonna be up in there. They gonna. How you gonna be mad at J-Lo and this man gonna be sitting next to just a pair of sentient titties? Because that's all the fuck he's doing right now with his life. Get out of my face, nigga. You don't even watch sports. I know it. I know you don't watch sports. You don't have no sports. You don't have no sports lines in your raps. Okay? I know you just would have been there to harass Taylor Swift. And also, like, you harassed her when she was 17, nigga. We are over you. You have multiple white women you could be harassing now. Some of them the mother of your kids. Leave us out of it. Damn.
Leave us out of the conflicts.
Fucking mask he would have been wearing up in there with a fucking Confederate flag on it and shit. She saved all of us. The Super Bowl is the most watched event since the goddamn moon landing, and we ain't had to see this nigga on there acting stupid because you know he would have been acting fucking stupid. Ugh. Class action lawsuit alleges Amazon deceived subscribers with new Prime Video ad plan. Somebody finally did it. So this proposed class action lawsuit was filed Friday in California, basically saying it's a breach of contract because when Amazon Prime, Amazon Video was advertised to people when we signed up, it said commercial free.
Yes.
Now they're telling you you're gonna have to pay extra $3 a month to watch without ads.
And people are like, I already paid for fucking Prime, and you told me it was all in the package.
And Prime now does have commercials, so it altered its terms, and now people are like, we suing.
Right, because people going, I'm already paying all this money for Amazon Prime, and Amazon Prime and Amazon Music and shit is already included. That's why the fuck most people got it. Most people don't have it because they're paying for it separately.
Yeah, it's like that joke I made about it. Well, I said they be sending you the email taking away features and acting like they doing you the favor. This is a great example of just hey, you don't want to watch ads, do you? Well, just for you don't even have to do anything extra. We're just gonna charge you $3 more to do what we said we would never do, but we are now doing unless you give us the $3. It seeks at least $5 million in a court order that will bar them from engaging in further deceptive conduct on behalf of subscribers who signed up prior to December 28th, 2023.
Right. You sign up after that, cool. Pay your $3.99. But if you kind of already been grandfathered in, people are like, no, this is
I'm signing up for this shit. They sent me the class action email.
Yeah, because we've had it forever. So yes.
Your boy I need the money.
Yeah, I mean, that's not funny. You couldn't went up in Amazon Prime $3,
right,
and got your money,
right? Just saying. All right, Karen, let's get into something else.
Okay.
We're going to war. Gender war. There's a war going on outside. Gender war. There's a war going on outside. Gender war.
All right, gender wars. You know what we do, guys. We're gonna watch some content created by people that probably want to see us, mad about some stuff or whatever. You know how it goes. It's never good shit. It's always somebody that got like half a fucking camera phone and they just start pulling it out and arguing and shit. And then we're gonna judge it from 0 to 10, I believe is how we judge these.
Okay. We're doing 10. That's good.
Yeah, I think it's 0 to 10. And we're not judging. We're not trying to give you our opinion and be like, men eat salad. Women, men eat steak. Women eat salad. I want to watch football. Eat food.
Eat chitlin.
Yeah, like
not chitlins, chitlin.
Yeah, chitlin, poke. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to tell you if it's good content. Like, does it have staying power? Is it gonna get people arguing? Is it believable if it's one of those, the ones where it'd be like, I walked in the room and she was saying, this child is not yours, but I need extra child support. Now I need double the child support, even though the paternity test was laying on the table and said it was my brother's, they do that shit. And so we judge it to say, is that a good job or a bad job? So just everyone get in that headspace, because it's hard to watch these without that feeling of, I think I need to start arguing. I need to fight. It's just what happens to us. All right. So I got a couple. I think I found the one I was looking for. Here we go. Let me put it on the screen so we can judge as a family.
Okay.
It's only 34 seconds.
Oh, good short one.
It says thoughts from wild content, aka at no cap fights. Okay, 35 seconds.
I've been starving all day, and y'all got this lazy fuck sitting here drinking a Chick-fil-A shake. Get up and cook something. What are you doing?
I'm not cooking nothing for you. Why
Go
you
cook
recording
something.
me?
See, this is why I'm not marrying you. Because you sitting down all day. Go cook something. Do something. This is exactly why I'm not marrying you.
What?
You got the lights off. Turn the lights on.
How you mad? Because I want to relax.
Look at this.
Why do I gotta cook for you? Who do you think I am?
The
fire alarm.
smoke
All right
detector
on time.
is I feel
That's the
like
start of the show.
it's a conspiracy, and I think the government is TikTok, the Chinese government is making that sound in all black videos. Okay,
They drain. I think they purposely drain the batteries.
there's malware. I don't think it's even happening. I think they're putting the chirp in black videos. I think there's malware on the internet, and if you post some amateur porn in a house that got all the fire detectors and smoke alarms completely stocked up on 9-volt juice, it will still beep in the background because it detects that your skin is black. Because how else that makes sense, everybody? How is it in every black video?
That's hilarious.
All right, back to the video.
I'm not marrying you. Hope you know that. It's over with. I've been starving.
Okay, so he's not marrying her because she's not cooking. It's over with the engagement, I guess, because she was on the couch eating Chick-fil-A, and not because he's so not because he's so religious or anything. But yeah, so what do you think, Karen? 0 to 100.
This gets a 0, and the biggest reason why it gets 0 is low energy on both sides. It doesn't sound like you were arguing prior to the video coming through. It's like I couldn't even take you seriously or them seriously. The acting was bad, from our perspective. You know what I'm saying? So, and the video was not good. No, a lot of times I like a more steadier camera. Get a nice little tripod or something like that, or if you're gonna, film yourself with it pointing at you. And it's a lot of shit you can do with iPhones now. And then you could have just flipped the camera around, did it and then turned it back, type of thing on the video. So yeah, I did not like this. On the scale, we've seen some that are much better. That actually, I guarantee you, this video did not get a lot of engagement. I mean, put it like this:
that's a good point.
It may have gotten a lot of engagement because people just like to fight. But it's not going to get as much of an engagement as some of the other ones we've seen in the past. Like I said, it just didn't have that oomph to it to make you be like, okay, we actually wore it.
I'm with you. It only got 4.6 thousand retweets.
That's low.
2,400 replies. 13K likes. It did get 9.7 million views, but not a lot of engagement. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 2 because I don't even believe it. I thought it was lazy.
Yes.
It came off too fake, too laid back.
Right.
I just can't get with it.
And then when it would have been different if he would have, let's say he type of person where that's his energy. Her energy.
Well, we don't know him.
No. When he came in, if his energy would have been low and then her energy hyped up,
right?
I would have raised the score because it'd be like,
agree.
"What you say, nigga?" And then
somebody should have made a mess or broke something.
Yes.
Yeah, we needed more.
Conflict. Throw the Chick-fil-A at him. I don't know.
I thought like maybe another dude would be hiding under the blanket. Like they just need to get more creative with it. So yeah, we got to give it a low score. Sorry about that one. Let's go to the next gender war. I think this one was sent to me by my friend Nick G.
Okay.
I think she texted me this one. Poor Minds podcast. Now I thought the volume was low, so we'll see if this is usable. But it's long.
So if you're making $50,000, don't date. I'm just being for real. You're not ready to date.
Again, I'm with you.
You're not ready to date. You're not ready to date because courtship costs.
Okay.
Everything costs. Okay. You can go for 22 walks in the park. Eventually, shorty is going to need a sip of something. She's going to be thirsty. This bottle of water is $3 in Atlanta. Let's not play. So if you don't have any expendable cash, don't date. And whatever that looks like for you, you might only make $50,000, but you live in a shoe. And now you got expendable cash. Or get you a bottom of the barrel bitch that's going to date you when you have no money. If she doesn't have the expectation, and I'm going to tell you this right now, enjoy it while it lasts because eventually you're going to want to run. Because she doesn't stretch you. She doesn't make you the man that you need to become. She allows you to be the stagnant dude in the same jeans for days. You know what I'm saying?
Be cutting up.
I'm
You
just
talk about
saying.
me.
So if you're making $50,000,
there you go, Karen. If you're making $50,000, okay, what do you think about this gender wars content?
I like this one better than the other one.
They got professional cameras.
Yes,
They all
professional
dressed
mics.
up.
Yes.
Good mics. The balloons in the
Makeup.
back.
Yes.
Like this is peak. Let's get these niggas fighting.
Yes, you're giving me just what I'm asking for. You got different camera angles.
Y'all care.
You care.
You got editing. I love how they put the closed caption in there so that even if you got your phone somewhere at work and you like, I can't even hear this because to get mad. No, you gonna still get mad because it's right there in the words.
Yes. And the biggest thing I liked about it, when I mean energy, it doesn't have to always be high energy.
Right.
So I like the fact that she was quote unquote spitting on facts. Because that's how you get people. No matter what you say, you got to stand in your truth and spit them facts. And she was like, look, if you don't make $50,000, she was like, nigga, don't make no. She was like, look, if you don't make $50,000, and I like the fact that she kept the same energy. And it put like this. Not only did you cause gender wars, you cause other bitches to turn on you because you call them bottom barrel bitches. Because they, you be like, if you accept the nigga when he ain't got no money, he ain't got shit. I guess I'm a bottom barrel bitch then. Because, in her mind, when, you ain't got no standards. And so you make a lot of women turn on you in addition to men turning on you. And or a lot of men, pick me men, start jumping in and be like, bitch, I'm the boss, I got the money, I can do it. And then you got a lot of women that's gonna agree with her too and be like, nigga, don't come my way unless you got no money.
Just stoking the flames of the gender wars.
Yes. And
I love the way they co-sign her. And like one host was kind of like, I'm not with it, but then the other one was with it, which made like a little conflict that makes it interesting within the clip. I honestly, I get this like, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Only thing that can make this better is some ignorant nigga being mad about it.
And actually dare to represent himself.
Yeah,
yes.
like if they he don't have to like get a word in or necessarily like
just see his face.
But just to see if they cut to some nigga like, but I make $50,000, like just a man in like a construction, just a man in like a Lowe's vest, just somebody that we know probably make $50,000. Like research what $50,000 jobs are, and just have a cutaway to a man that's like a manager of the produce section at Publix, and we like, okay, now we cooking. So I'm with you, Karen. I give that. Yeah, that 9. What would you give?
Yeah, I agree. I give it about an 8 or to a 9. Yeah, because like I say, this right here was the complete opposite. And like I say, it wasn't high energy, but at the same time, it's one of them things where I believed her. Versus I didn't believe that first one. I felt this one. It was facts. They straight spitting. They got all juiced up. Got the makeup on, got the titties out, got the hair done.
I loved it.
And they was like, oh, we coming for the war. So yes, I appreciate you, ladies.
And you're right. They in the chat. They mad in the comments. They mad.
Oh yeah, I put like this. I bet you got more views and interaction than the other one.
20. Yeah, it did. 22 walks in the park. Sound like she need to be taking all advice. So that sounds like a fat joke. Because how dare a fat woman have some standards now? And not when I don't agree with it.
Right.
She better just eat. She better take whatever she can get.
So she was. Yeah. They were shooting across the bow at everybody.
Right. Basically saying if you a man making under 50K, don't date, but a woman can date until her heart's content because she don't pay or do anything to court a man. They nasty out here. And then that reply has 100 replies. They did that. They did that.
Yep. They understood the assignment and hit the formula. So kudos to you.
Now y'all want to know what me and Karen think and how much money it is that you should be allowed to date? Well, that's not what the fucking segment's about. You fell for it, dummies. All right. Let's this up with some Guess the Race. Let me get the Guess the Race music out. Hold on a second. Why am I having such a hard time finding it? Oh, there we go. This time for Guess the Race. 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 All right, you know what that means. Guess the race time. Time for us to read articles and guess the race. The people involved. Of course, Karen plays along. And the the people in the chat play along, and they are all racist. All right, let's see. How about this? California mom of 2 hospitalized after a stranger puts bucket on her head for social media prank. Not funny.
The latest TikTok challenge takes a scary turn at a local Target. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez live in Tustin with something known as the bucket challenge. Christina.
Yeah, I just got off the phone with police. They say that they're looking for 4 suspects, all of them middle school age. They're in a lot of trouble because a prank has turned into an assault. Listen to the victim say what happened.
Then all of a sudden, everything went dark. Someone, I could feel their presence, put something over me. I had no vision. I couldn't hear anything. It was closing in. I couldn't breathe. I grabbed my neck. I started screaming.
Lana Clay Monahan explaining what happened while she was shopping at the Target off Park Avenue in Tustin. The new mother of twins was alone at the baby aisle looking through products.
The police department is describing it.
And we are guessing her race. Okay.
Oh, okay.
As the bucket challenge or a prank.
Social media posts describe it as the bucket overhead prank, the latest TikTok challenge. Lana says she managed to get the item off her head.
I was in such a state of fear and shock. However, I could hear laughing. And so when I turned around, I was mortified to see a group of individuals, and they were filming me. And I know they were filming me because there was glistening light. And so they were holding their phones up and laughing and pointing it at me.
She ended up passing out and was transported to a local hospital.
The worst part about this for me is the last moment that I had was asking them for help, and they were laughing at me, and I hit the ground.
She says she never had a problem at this Target and wants to come forward to stop it from happening to someone else.
This cannot happen. We have to talk to our children. It is not funny to go and find someone vulnerable that is smaller, that is alone, that is unexpecting, and for your own humorous pleasure to film them, to strive to get a reaction.
And again, it's assault. Target has provided security video to police. They're going over it. Target cooperating. They issued a statement saying they feel horrible about this. That whole statement on our website at foxla.com. I am live in Tustin. Christina.
All right, Care. Guess the race of the mom, Lana Clay Monahan.
Lana Clay Monahan sounds white.
Mm-hmm.
But 100 for me being fucked with.
Mm-hmm.
Because that shit is scary.
Mm-hmm.
And them kids could have got shot. Because when you start doing this to people, you just never really know. Like, and what happened if that person would have turned around and started assaulting and whipping their asses? They would have been in the wrong, right? Don't fuck with people.
Well, people, I don't think they would be in the wrong, because we've had stories where a man shot one of these YouTube pranksters and he didn't get no jail time. They dropped them charges.
Leave people alone.
No, I don't see anyone guessing any race in the chat.
I
saw you put it. Oh, you do?
I guess it must be a delay on your side.
Oh, let me refresh everyone. I'll be right back.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah, I see a handful of comments. It probably will refresh when you come back.
Okay, here we go. All right.
Okay.
Let's see. White is the mop bucket. Voice, people carrying white. Folks wonder why they tried to ban TikTok white. Alabaster white. Whitey McWhitington. Sound like a white prank white. They shouldn't have done it, but that white woman was very dramatic after the fight. White, I think the cracker country part of Cali, white. The correct answer is she was white. Yeah, on the one hand, it's like obviously sad, but it fucked up and scary. But on the other hand, like when she said this isn't funny, I was like, I'm picturing these kids seeing this news report and laughing, because it's definitely funny to them.
Yeah, kids ain't shit sometimes.
Yeah, they absolutely thought that shit was funny.
Right. I hope they catch them too.
Yeah. But yeah, she was white. Woman called police after thieves hit the Metro Lululemon store. She was then fired.
What?
A Gwinnett County woman says she was fired for calling the police on 3 robbers who stole thousands of dollars worth of clothes from the Lululemon store she worked at. Rachel Rogers captured the frightening moments on cell phone last month when the brazen robbers walked into the store and began stealing thousands of dollars of merchandise. The 23-year-old told Channel 2's Michael Seaton that the 3 men grabbed as much as they could before they bolted from the store where their getaway driver was waiting. And she said, Roger said she and her former co-worker, Jennifer Ferguson, were shaken but uninjured. Immediately, they reported the robbery to police, but 2 weeks later, they were let go and fired after they learned they both violated the company policy by calling 911. What were they supposed to do? Clear a pathway. At least that is what it's posted. Is a clear pathway. Don't interact. Let them take what they want. Let them take what they have, and do not contact with them at all. So, but I don't understand. But calling 911 has what to do with that?
Right.
She said she was frustrated because they've been dealing with the same problem for 8 months.
Yeah, how I lose my job? I let them steal it. Shit, they took it. The fuck we talking about here?
It didn't sound like they fought the people for the clothes. It sounded like
sound like they got fired because they called 911.
Yeah, unless I'm misunderstanding something. I don't understand what the violation was.
Right? Did they interact?
No, they have it on video. I'm looking at the video of it now, and they didn't do anything to the people stealing the shit. They just
as a company, how can this be a policy? You ought to be sued over that. The fuck? So I get shot and die. I'm not supposed to call 911 because it's your shit. Fuck you.
Well, guess her race. Rachel Rogers.
White.
Karen says white. All right, let's check the chat room, see what they believe. Her race is. Sounds like insurance fraud. Fired over some bullshit black, says Jonathan. Oh man.
Yeah, I'd
white.
be mad.
Someone said they don't want bad publicity for their brand. Oh, maybe is this what defund the police is rot? They're like, we don't want to get canceled. Just let them steal the shit. Okay, we scared.
Bitch, they stole it.
Right.
I don't get it.
But yeah, white. I got white. Fire for doing the right thing. Black. Everything Lululemon equal white. I'm thinking white. Correct answer is sounds unfair. Black. The correct answer is white. Some people got it wrong.
That's a rowdy crowd,
right? But yeah, that's her.
Yeah, that is that's a wild policy.
The thieves appear to be young black dudes that were wearing that shiesty or whatever they're calling it, whatever the kids are calling it,
over your face.
The thing that Twitter says is not scary and we shouldn't be afraid of.
Fuck y'all, that shit is scary. Don't walk around me with that bullshit on your face.
It's just fashion. It's just fashion.
Don't give a fuck about your fashion.
I'm
I'm old. I want to see your face.
They knock on your door with that on. You gotta open it up, or you racist.
The fuck, I will.
All right, Trump.
I'm not Lululemon. I call the police on your black ass.
What's wrong with you?
This is why we play Guess the Race.
All right, it's bonus round. Guess the Race. Karen's 2 for 2.
That bitch was white. I ain't racist. How can I be racist about anybody or anything in my life? How can I?
Call them niggers. Just call them niggers.
It's time to get
gold teeth, gold chain wearing, fried chicken and biscuit eating, monkey ate baboon, big thigh, fast running, high jumping, spear chucking, 360-degree basketball.
A man with a giant Donald Trump flag flying from the bed of his pickup truck vandalized an LGBTQ plus mural by doing multiple burnouts atop the painted installation, according to police who arrested the motorist on a felony charge.
Oh, boo.
Police in Delray Beach, Florida alleged that Dylan Reese Brewer, 19, intentionally left a series of black skid marks across downtown intersection painted to resemble a pride flag. Surveillance cameras recorded the truck with its Trump flag flapping, screeching across the roadway last Sunday.
Did it say, "This is our country"?
It's sad. Ron DeSantis can't even win his own state. They flying Trump flags in DeSantis country. But witnesses told police the vehicle performed repeated burnouts on the mural, which was installed by the Palm Beach County Human Rights Council and the AIDS Healthcare Foundation. Brewer, who yesterday turned himself in, was charged with reckless driving and criminal mischief. The latter count is a felony since the alleged property damage exceeds $1,000. Bet he didn't know that shit. Brewer, pictured at the right, was released this afternoon from the jail on $5,250 bond. Arrest records list his residence as a waterfront home in Clearwater owned by his parents. He's registered to vote as a member of the Republican Party of Florida from that address. He goes to Lynn University in Boca Raton. Man, we learned a lot about this thing.
Right?
What the fuck? The Delray Beach installation.
They must have had a word count.
The Delray Beach installation was previously defaced in 2021 by a motorist who burned skid marks into the mural. So this is not the first time they've targeted them with a hate crime. Karen, guess the race.
Ford F-150 Tough White.
Three names in the South. We know this is white, says Romy. Let's see. Pink-necked white kid. Unoriginal, dirty ass white trash. Where was this three-name fool on January 6th? White. Oh, white. Correct answer is white. He looked like a walking hate crime.
Mm-hmm.
Like his face looked like the mug shot for after they catch the person at the end of a movie that the KKK did something in.
Right. They was like, y'all don't have no sympathy. He's in Florida in the house he don't own. This is his parents' house. In fact, he's in college.
Right. All right, last thing we gotta talk about sword ratchetness, and then we're gonna get out of here. All right, sword ratchetness. I think I can pull this article up. We can watch it as family, everybody. Boom. There we go. And it's oh wait, this isn't the article. It's just some bullshit. All right, a Virginia woman was arrested for allegedly swinging a medieval sword at a police officer and her neighbor.
Medieval sword?
Alexandra Hopkins, 35.
That's in the Hopkins.
Hopkins.
Black.
Parents going black for Alexandra Hopkins. Now, this doesn't count against her score. It's a bonus round.
Alexandra Hopkins.
But that's her.
Wow.
She's not black. She's white.
No.
And she's not all there.
Hopkins. Yeah, I don't know Black Hopkins.
Bernard Hopkins. I get it. But that woman is...
Oh, yeah. Something not there. Something off.
Yeah.
She got that sword from Game of Thrones set.
Yeah. So she, after officers encountered her, she swung at one of them with a sword that was more than 1.5 foot long.
Oh, 1.5 feet.
What was it, the Final Fantasy VII sword? Got a Buster sword and a 1.5 foot long before fleeing into a residence. Hopkins was taken in custody out further incident. A neighbor told police she also swung the sword at them. No injuries were reported in connection with the incident. She was charged with 1 count of assault on law enforcement, 1 count of assault on 2 counts of brandishing a weapon. She also has 2 unrelated warrants from another agency. Yeah, she looked like she be dealing with the police a lot. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense. All right, y'all. That's it for this episode of The Black Guy Who Tips. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow when the grandchildren of Monique's son reply and tell us he ain't shit. But until then, I love you.
I love you too. Mwah.
Bye, everybody. Have a good rest of your night. Peace.